The stars beyond Earth shimmered like scattered jewels, but beneath their beauty lay a growing shadow. Humanity had long been part of the Galactic Concord, a sprawling alliance of diverse alien civilizations, each contributing their unique strengths to maintain peace and security across countless star systems. For decades, Earth's role was modest but proud, an industrious member, a rising civilization eager to share knowledge and culture. Yet, as the ominous signs began, whispers of a new threat, the Zalkar, spread like wildfire through the Alliance. The Zalkar were unlike any enemy humanity had faced before, a ruthless species bent on conquest and consumption, devouring planets and extinguishing entire civilizations without mercy. When the first Zalkar fleets arrived on the outer edges of the Concord, panic spread through the member worlds. The Alliance Council convened urgently, promising coordinated defense and mutual aid. Earth listened closely, trusting the old promises and preparing to stand united alongside its allies. But as the Zalkar descended upon the outer colonies, an unsettling truth emerged. One by one, the alien races began withdrawing their fleets and resources. Messages arrived, cold and clipped reports of internal strife, overwhelming losses elsewhere, or political decisions that forbade direct involvement. The vast armadas that once patrolled space in defense of the Concord vanished. Entire sectors were left exposed, and Earth found itself utterly alone. The news hit the global broadcast like a thunderclap. We regret to inform all citizens, the Earth Federation's president announced, her voice steady but somber, that all Allied forces have withdrawn from the defense of Earth and its colonies. We are now responsible for our own survival. Shock rippled through every city and space station. Markets fell silent, ships grounded, and soldiers gripped their weapons with trembling hands. How could those who pledged unity abandon them when they needed them most? Yet beneath the initial disbelief, something else took root, a fierce and unwavering resolve. In the command center orbiting Earth, Admiral Marcus Hale clenched his jaw as he stared at the constellation of empty star lanes where allies once stood. "They left us to die," he said quietly. "But they don't know." Humanity. Across the planet, ordinary citizens responded with extraordinary determination. Scientists accelerated research programs. Engineers repurposed every scrap of technology. And pilots drilled relentlessly for the battles ahead. Dr. Elara Voss, one of Earth's leading astrophysicists and tactical experts, addressed a packed assembly of military commanders. "We have been abandoned," she said. "But abandonment does not mean defeat. We will not beg for help. We will not wait for salvation. We will fight. We will win." The human spirit ignited like a beacon. Earth's factories hummed day and night, producing new starships equipped with hybrid technology, part alien designs adapted for human ingenuity, part cutting-edge human innovation. Engineers developed experimental weapons tuned to exploit weaknesses observed in Zalkar patterns. Training grounds buzzed with recruits, each one knowing they were humanity's shield. Political leaders reached out to the remaining independent colonies, rallying a coalition of the willing. These smaller worlds, skeptical of the Grand Alliance but proud of their independence, found inspiration in Earth's bold stance. Slowly, a new human-led defense network took shape. Meanwhile, the Zalkar forces moved closer, confident and ruthless. Their scouts scoured systems, their dreadnoughts glowing with ominous power. They expected an easy victory, the same as the others before, but they had underestimated humanity's grit in the dark vacuum of space, where every star seemed to hold a secret. Earth's fleet prepared for the storm. The betrayal by the Galactic Concord had shattered old alliances, but it forged something new. Humanity was no longer the underdog. Relying on others, they were the last line of defense, and they would fight alone if they had to. The betrayal was still fresh, a bitter wound that echoed through the corridors of Earth's command centers and the hearts of its people. Yet from those ashes rose a determination that no alien abandonment could extinguish. Humanity moved swiftly. The planet's leaders convened an emergency summit, bringing together military strategists, scientists, engineers, and diplomats. There was no time for despair. The Zalkar were advancing, and Earth had to be ready. Dr. Ilara Voss took the stage again, her voice calm but charged with conviction. Our technology is no longer inferior. We have the knowledge and the will to evolve. We will integrate alien tech left behind, innovate our own, and build a fleet capable of standing toe-to-toe with the Zalkar. In factories across Earth and its colonies, the hum of machinery grew louder. Shipyards expanded exponentially, retrofitting old freighters and cargo ships into nimble warcraft. Engineers reverse-engineered alien energy systems, blending them with human ingenuity to create weapons, more versatile and deadly than ever before. Unlike the other species who had abandoned the alliance, humans possessed a fierce adaptability, born from centuries of surviving harsh conditions from ravaged environments to political upheaval. Their engineers and scientists worked around the clock, fueled by the urgency of survival and the pride of their species. The Earth Defense Fleet, once modest and dependent on others, blossomed into a formidable armada. Ships were outfitted with energy shields, plasma cannons, and experimental drones capable of autonomous combat. Pilots were trained in unorthodox tactics, favoring agility, quick thinking, and risk-taking over rigid formations. Across the colony's communication lines buzzed with renewed coordination. Independent worlds, inspired by Earth's refusal to yield, pledged support, sending raw materials, recruits, and intelligence. A human-led coalition was born. Smaller, but united by a shared resolve. Despite the challenges, the mood among humans shifted from fear and anger. A sense of purpose emerged, belief that they were the galaxy's last hope. Amid the bustle, Admiral Marcus Hale stood on the command bridge of the flagship Resolute, looking out at the stars. He knew the battles ahead would be brutal. But he also knew humanity had something the Zalkar lacked: relentless spirit. Prepare for deployment, Hale ordered. We're going to show the universe that when abandoned, humans do not break. They fight. The first test came sooner than expected. A forward human colony, the mining world of Jurith, sent urgent distress signals. Zalkar forces had launched a surprise attack, aiming to capture its rich resources and cripple the fledgling human fleet. The call went out. Squadrons scrambled, racing through space to defend the colony. When the battle began, UN pilots pushed their new ships to the limit. Using hit-and-run maneuvers, ambush tactics, and daring close-quarters combat, they surprised the Zalkar. Their weapons, honed through recent innovations, struck with precision, tearing through enemy armor. The defenders of Jurith fought not just for survival, but to prove a point. Humanity would not be an easy target. Despite their lack of experience compared to the seasoned Zalkar warriors, the humans' creativity and refusal to surrender won the day. The enemy retreated, battered and wary. News of the victory spread quickly, rekindling hope across Earth and its colonies. The people cheered, their spirits lifted by proof that they could stand and fight. Dr. Voss addressed the global broadcast. This is only the beginning. We are not helpless or alone. We are rising from ashes, stronger, smarter, and united. The galaxy will remember that, when the rest fled, humanity stood firm. Back on the flagship, Hale convened his officers. Our journey is just starting. The Zalkar will come back stronger, but so will we. Let this victory be the spark that lights the fire of resistance. The fleet set course for deeper space, ready to protect human worlds and take the fight to the enemy. Every ship, every soldier, Every citizen was part of something greater. Struggle not just for survival, but for honor, pride, and the future of humanity. Abandoned by the galaxy. They chose to rise, and they chose to fight alone. The darkness of space was pierced by the cold glint of stars. Distant yet indifferent to the struggle unfolding beneath their watchful gaze. Humanity's newly forged fleet surged forward, its vessels shimmering with a blend of alien technology and human innovation. The Zalkar had advanced deeper into human space, their shadow growing longer with each passing day. For the first time, the Earth Defense Fleet would face the enemy in a large-scale battle. The target was the remote outpost of Vensa Prima, crucial mining colony on the edge of human-controlled space. The Zalkar sought to claim it as a foothold, a staging ground for further assaults. For humanity, losing Vensa Prime meant a blow to morale and resources. Admiral Marcus Hale stood resolute on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, surrounded by his commanders. The tension was palpable. The Zalkar fleet was larger and better. Armed, but the humans had something their enemy did not: heart and unpredictability. "Remember," Hale said, voice firm, "they expect us to run or surrender. We give them something else. We hit hard, we hit fast, and we never stop fighting." As the Zalkar fleet loomed on the horizon, sensors detected an incoming swarm of sleek assault ships. The battle was about to begin. The first salvos lit up space energy beams streaking through the void. Missiles arcing in deadly trajectories. Human ships responded with coordinated volleys, their plasma cannons and railguns tearing into enemy hulls. The Zalkar retaliated with ruthless precision, exploiting gaps and weaknesses in the human formation. But the humans adapted quickly. Pilots employed guerrilla tactics, darting between larger ships using asteroid fields and debris as cover. They deployed decoy drones and electronic countermeasures, confusing the enemy's targeting systems. Human fighters communicated seamlessly, coordinating attacks that focused on disabling key enemy vessels. Lieutenant Mara Kim, a daring pilot, known for her aggressive style, led a squadron deep into enemy lines. With nerves of steel, her team struck at the Zalkar command ship, drawing fire and sowing chaos. "Keep pushing," Mara radioed. "They don't expect this." Her squadron's boldness paid off. They crippled the command ship's weapon. Arrays, buying critical time for the main fleet to regroup and press their advantage. On the Resolute, Admiral Hale watched the battle unfold with pride and caution. "Hold the line, support the fighters. This is our moment." The fighting grew fiercer. Explosions blossomed in bursts of fire and smoke. Starships spun out of control, some burning brightly before vanishing into the void. Casualties mounted on both sides, yet the humans refused to yield. Against overwhelming odds, they managed to turn the tide, utilizing a daring flanking maneuver suggested by Dr. Alara Voss, the fleet's tactical advisor. They trapped a significant portion of the Zalkar forces between converging battle groups. The enemy fleet began to falter, their formations breaking. Human ships pressed their advantage relentlessly, their weapons hammering down with unforgiving force. In the chaos, the Zalkar flagship exploded in a brilliant flash, its destruction sending shockwaves through the enemy ranks. The remaining Zalkar vessels retreated in disarray, limping away under heavy fire. The battle was won, but at a cost. Human losses were severe. Many ships were lost, crews sacrificed in desperate acts of bravery. Yet the victory was undeniable. Humanity had held their ground and dealt the Zalkar a serious blow back on Earth and its colonies. The news ignited celebrations and tears alike. For the first time, the galaxy saw humans not as weak or abandoned, but as fierce warriors capable of defying extinction. Admiral Hale addressed the fleet and the people watching from afar. "This is only the beginning. We have tasted victory, but the road ahead will be long and hard. Let this first blood be a warning to those who doubt us. Humanity fights alone, and we will not be broken." In the aftermath, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to repair ships and study captured Zalkar technology. Pilots recounted tales of courage, inspiring new recruits. Among the human ranks, a new confidence blossomed, a belief that no matter the odds, they could stand tall against any threat. The betrayal of the Galactic Concord had ignited a fire in humanity that no enemy could extinguish. They were no longer the abandoned. They were the hunters. The aftermath of the battle at Bensa Prime rippled through human space like the first tremors of an earthquake. The taste of victory was sweet but fleeting, replaced swiftly by the harsh reality of war. The Zalkar were relentless, their dark fleets pressing harder, determined to crush humanity's defiance. On the bridge of the flagship Resolute, Admiral Marcus Hale felt the weight of command heavier than ever. The war was no longer a single battle but a grinding, unyielding struggle. Every victory came at a cost, every decision a gamble with lives. "We adapt or we perish," Hale reminded his officers. "The Zalkar will learn from their mistakes, and so must we." Leading the charge in innovation was Dr. Elara Voss. She had emerged from the chaos, not just as a brilliant scientist, but as a strategic mind, blending technology and tactics to shape humanity's war effort. In the sprawling human shipyards orbiting Earth's new classes of warships took form. Sleek, versatile vessels combined advanced propulsion with modular weapon systems. Engineers integrated captured Zalkar tech, creating hybrid designs that could punch through the Groovy's enemy's defenses. But technology alone was not enough. The conflict forged a new kind of soldier, warrior bred in the crucible of survival. Training programs intensified, emphasizing adaptability, resilience, and teamwork. Pilots learned to trust each other implicitly, turning squads into lethal units capable of turning the tide of battle. Among these rising heroes was Captain Rion Cade, a former cargo pilot turned fleet commander. His unconventional tactics and calm leadership earned him the respect of his crew and peers alike. Under his command, squadrons executed daring raids against Zalkar supply lines, striking at the enemy's lifeblood. "Hit them where it hurts," Cade said, briefing his team. "Starve them of resources and watch them weaken." Meanwhile, civilians on Earth endured rationing, blackouts, and the constant hum of defense drills. Yet, rather than breaking spirits, the hardships steeled them. Communities organized volunteer efforts to support the war. From manufacturing vital parts to tending to wounded soldiers, the media broadcast stories of sacrifice and valor, reminding humanity why they fought not just for survival, but for the right to exist with dignity and hope. The Zalkar did not relent. Their assaults became more savage, their warships bristling with new weapons and faster engines. Entire sectors flickered under their shadow, and the galaxy watched, unsure if humanity could hold. But Earth's defenders stood firm in one daring campaign. Captain Cade's fleet launched a surprise attack on a heavily fortified Zalkar staging ground orbiting the mining world of Thalix. Utilizing a combination of stealth drones and electronic warfare, the humans disabled the enemy's shield generators, allowing the fleet to breach defenses. The ensuing battle was brutal. Clashed in fiery duels, explosions lighting the void like fireworks. Human pilots danced between blasts, exploiting every opening. When the dust settled, the Zalkar had suffered significant losses and their forward base was crippled. News of the victory spread quickly, bolstering morale across human territories. Back on Earth, Admiral Hale and Dr. Voss met in the strategy rooms surrounded by holographic displays of the battlefield. "We've forged something new," Hale said quietly. "It's not just ships and weapons, but a spirit that no force can break." Elara nodded. The war will shape us, yes, but it will also reveal who we truly are. As the conflict wore on, humanity became a beacon of resilience. Their willingness to innovate, to sacrifice, and to fight with relentless courage earned grudging respect from former allies and enemies alike. The Galactic Concord's abandonment was a painful scar, but it was also the spark that ignited a blazing inferno within humanity. They were no longer the fledgling species, waiting for salvation. They were the hammer, forging their own destiny in the fires of war. And the Zalkar would learn, to their cost, that when humanity fought, they fought with everything they had on, then some. The war against the Zalkar dragged on, an unending storm of fire and steel stretching across the stars. Humanity's fierce resistance shocked many. But it also brought a new urgency, one that led explorers, scientists, and soldiers alike to dig deeper into the mysteries scattered across the galaxy. It was in the uncharted system of Verdanus that humanity found its next hope, a discovery that would change everything. A routine scouting mission uncovered a derelict alien vessel, unlike any seen before. Massive and ancient, it drifted silently near a dying star, its hull scarred by time yet intact. The ship bore no known markings, its technology unlike any alien race in the Galactic Concord. Ilara Voss was among the first to study the craft. She and her team boarded carefully, their footsteps echoing through silent corridors as they ventured deeper. Inside, they found not just technology, but history-etched records, holographic logs, and relics from a civilization long lost. Ancient beings had once faced the Zalkar, chronicling battles, strategies, and, most importantly, warnings. "The past is speaking to us," Ilara said as she deciphered the logs. These civilizations faced the Zalkar and failed. But they left behind knowledge ways to fight that the Concord never learned. Among the findings was a starship blueprint, designed vastly superior to anything humanity had yet created. Its energy systems promised unmatched power, its weapons capable of devastating the Zalkar's most feared warships. Yet, the ship was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of hope. Back on Earth, the discovery electrified human command. Plans began immediately to replicate the ancient vessel's technology, merging it with humanity's own advancements. Engineers worked feverishly, adapting alien blueprints to human manufacturing capabilities. Building the ship became a race against time. The Zalkar, sensing humanity's growing strength, intensified their attacks. Skirmishes turned into battles, and every lost system became a stark reminder of the stakes. Captain Rian Cade led a desperate mission to protect the construction yards. Under his command, squads used guerrilla tactics and electronic warfare to hold off superior forces. The battle was fierce, but the human determination was fiercer. "Every day we build that ship," Cade told his crew, "is a day closer to turning the tide." Meanwhile, Ilara and her team worked on weapon systems that could exploit weaknesses revealed in the ancient data. Energy disruptors, capable of disabling enemy shields, and new drone designs promised to give humans the edge they desperately needed. But the past also warned of dangers. The ancient records hinted at the Zalkar's ability to adapt rapidly, suggesting humanity could only win through constant innovation and unity. The process was grueling. Many doubted the project's success. But humanity thrived on hope and resilience when the first prototype of the new ship named Aegis was unveiled. It was met with awe. Its sleek lines, powerful engines, and formidable weapons made it a marvel of engineering and spirit. Admiral Hale stood before the assembled fleet, Aegis gleaming behind him. "This ship is more than metal and code," he declared. "Is our shield and sword, a testament to our will to survive. We carry the legacy of those who came before and the future of those who follow." As Aegis launched on its maiden voyage, piloted by Captain Cade, The galaxy watched. Humanity was no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting with the wisdom of the past, the strength of the present, and the promise of a future no enemy could take away. The echoes of ancient battles had become a guiding light showing humanity that even in the darkest times, hope could be found in the stars. The launch of the Aegis was more than a milestone, it was a declaration. Humanity's warship, built from the echoes of ancient wisdom and the fires of human determination, cut through the darkness of space like a beacon of hope and strength. The Zalkar had long believed Earth was a weak, isolated world, ripe for conquest. Now they faced a new reality. Captain Rian Cade commanded the Aegis on its first mission, to intercept and cripple a massive Zalkar supply convoy destined for the frontline systems. Without those supplies, the enemy's war machine would falter. The convoy, a vast fleet of heavily armored cargo ships and escorts, moved confidently through the void, unaware of the hunter waiting in the shadows. Cade's fleet, though smaller, was equipped with the Aegis's advanced technology and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Using stealth systems inspired by the ancient ship's design, the fleet slipped past enemy sensors, positioning themselves for a precise strike. Remember, Cade said to his squadron, this is the moment to show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. When the attack came, it was sudden and brutal. The Aegis unleashed a barrage of energy disruptors, disabling the convoy's shields and communications. Human fighters swarmed the cargo vessels, deploying specialized drones that tore through armor with surgical precision. The Zalkar escorts responded with fierce resistance, but the human fleet's tactics and technology kept them on the defensive. The battle raged through the void, starships weaving through a deadly dance of fire and explosions. Every move was calculated. Every strike designed to cripple rather than destroy indiscriminately. Humanity fought to win, not to waste. By the time the last cargo ship was incapacitated, the Aegis and its fleet had dealt a crippling blow to the Zalkar's logistics. Without supplies, their frontline forces would soon weaken. Back on Earth, the victory was celebrated as a turning point. Admiral Marcus Hale addressed the global broadcast, his voice steady with pride. Today, humanity has proven it is no longer the hunted. We are the hunters now. This is the turning tide. But the war was far from over. The Zalkar, furious at the loss, escalated their attacks with renewed ferocity. They unleashed terror raids on human colonies, hoping to crush morale through fear. Yet, every attack was met with fierce resistance. Human pilots, inspired by their victories and the legacy of their ancestors, fought with unmatched courage. They protected their worlds not just with weapons, but with hope. On Earth, scientists accelerated development of new defenses, orbital shields, rapid repair systems, and advanced drone swarms capable of defending cities from orbital bombardment. The people of Earth and its colonies adapted to life in wartime, forging a society united by shared sacrifice and unyielding will. Among the many tales of heroism, Captain Cade's Aegis became a symbol, a rallying point for all who believed humanity could prevail. In one daring mission, Cade led a strike team deep into enemy territory to destroy a Zalkar communication hub, crippling their coordination for weeks. The operation was risky, but it showcased humanity's growing confidence and skill as the Aegis returned to Earth. The stars seemed a little brighter. Elara Voss reflected on how far humanity had come. We took the fire of war and forged it into strength, she said. This is our moment. The moment we fight not just for survival, but for the future we deserve. Across the galaxy, whispers spread among other species once doubtful, now watching carefully. Humanity was no longer a cornered prey, but a rising force. The Galactic Concord's betrayal had tried to break them, but it only made humanity stronger. The tide was turning. and humanity would not stop until the Zalkar were defeated. The war had escalated to a fever pitch. The Zalkar, desperate to reclaim their dominance, launched an all-out assault on the star system of Seraphisa, last major human stronghold before the core worlds. It was a fortress world, heavily fortified and vital to humanity's survival. If Seraphis fell, the path to Earth would lie open to the enemy. Admiral Marcus Hale stood once more on the bridge of the Resolute. The massive fleet assembled in orbit like a steel wall. The mood was grim but determined. Every pilot, every crew member knew the stakes. "We hold Seraphis at all costs," Hale said, his voice resolute. "This is our last stand. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every world that looks to us for hope." The Zalkar fleet arrived in force, dark shapes blotting the stars. Their warships outnumbered humanity's, bristling with devastating new weaponry. The air was thick with tension as the two forces faced off. The silence before the storm, when battle erupted, it was chaos and fury unleashed. Energy beams seared across space. Explosions blossomed in fiery bursts, and starships engaged in brutal dogfights. The defenders of Seraphis fought with everything they had, their tactics honed through years of war. Captain Rion Cade led the vanguard aboard the Aegis, darting through the melee with precision and daring. His squadron struck at enemy supply lines and command ships, disrupting the Zalkar's coordination. Despite their fierce resistance, humanity's forces began to falter under the relentless pressure. The Zalkar pushed deeper, breaking through the outer defenses and targeting the planet's surface installations. On Seraphis itself, ground forces and orbital batteries held their ground, repelling landing parties and orbital strikes. Every inch was contested in brutal close-quarters combat. Back on the Resolute, Admiral Hale coordinated the defense, directing reinforcements where needed. He knew the fleet's survival depended on unity and sacrifice. "Hold the line," he commanded. "We will not break." As the battle dragged on, the human fleet suffered heavy losses. Ships exploded in brilliant flares, their crews lost to the void. Yet, the defenders pressed forward, fueled by determination and hope. In a desperate gambit, Captain Cade piloted the Aegis on a daring assault against the Zalkar flagship, dodging waves of enemy fire. He managed to infiltrate the command ship's defenses. Inside the ship, Cade and his team fought their way to the core, deploying sabotage devices designed by Dr. Voss. The ship's systems faltered, its weapons going dark one by one. The flagship began to drift, vulnerable and adrift in the chaos of battle. With their command ship crippled, the Zalkar fleet faltered. Their formations broke, confusion spreading through their ranks. Seizing the moment, Admiral Hale ordered a full counterattack. Human ships surged forward, their weapons blazing. The tide turned as they pushed the Zalkar back, reclaiming lost ground and securing the safety of Seraphis. The victory was costly, but decisive. Seraphis remained in human hands as the dust settled. The fleet gathered to mourn the fallen and honor the brave. Admiral Hale addressed the survivors, his voice steady but heavy. "Today, we faced the darkness and did not falter. We paid a price, but our spirit remains unbroken. The galaxy will remember Seraphis not as a place of defeat, but as a symbol of humanity's resolve." Captain Cade stood beside him, the Aegis scarred but unyielding. "This fight is far from over," he said. "But we've proven that no matter the odds, humanity stands tall. On Earth, the victory brought hope and renewed vigor. The war had forged a stronger, more united humanity, one ready to shape its own destiny. The Zalkar had underestimated the power of a people fighting for their home. Their future and humanity had shown them the cost of that mistake. The last stand at Seraphis was not just a battle won, it was a promise. a promise that no matter the darkness ahead, humanity would fight on alone if they must. The battle for Seraphis was a turning point, but it was only the beginning of humanity's long journey through the stars. The scars of war ran deep, yet they carried the seeds of something greater, future forged in fire and determination. With the Zalkar fleet in retreat and their command structure shattered, humanity seized the initiative. The Aegis, still bearing the marks of battle, led a fleet deep into enemy territory. Their mission, to deliver a final blow that would end the threat once and for all. Captain Rion Cade stood on the bridge, calm and focused. Beside him, Admiral Marcus Hale prepared the fleet for what could be the last and most dangerous engagement of the war. This is for every life lost, every world defended, Hale said. We carry the hopes of all humanity. The fleet entered Zalkar space, where shadows cloaked vast armadas and mysterious worlds. The enemy had retreated to their home systems, rallying for a desperate defense. The ensuing campaign was brutal and unrelenting. Each battle tested humanity's resolve, pushing ships and crews to their limits. But with each victory, the confidence of humanity grew. The Aegis's technology, combined with human ingenuity and courage, proved unstoppable. Deep within the enemy's heartland, the fleet confronted the Zalkar central stronghold. Sprawling fortress world protected by layers of defenses and a massive fleet. The assault began with precision strikes, disabling shields and communication networks. Human pilots dodged through flak and energy storms, targeting key installations. Ground forces landed, engaging in fierce combat to secure footholds. Inside the fortress, Dr. Ilara Voss coordinated efforts to exploit weaknesses uncovered in the ancient logs. Her team deployed advanced drones and disruptors that disabled enemy weapons and systems, turning the tide in humanity's favor. After days of relentless fighting, the fortress fell. The Zalkar leadership was captured or eliminated, their war machine broken. With their defeat, the galaxy's balance shifted. Humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit had not only saved their worlds, but earned them a place among the stars. The Galactic Concord, once dismissive and indifferent, now sought dialogue with Earth. Admiral Hale addressed the people of humanity from the bridge of the Resolute. Broadcasting across the galaxy, we stood alone, abandoned by those we once trusted. We fought not just for survival, but for our right to exist. Today, we begin a new chapter not of war, but of unity and peace. We extend a hand to all who seek cooperation, but we will never forget the strength it took to stand tall. Captain Cade, standing beside him, added, "We have learned that strength comes not just from weapons, but from hope, from courage, and from the unbreakable bond we share. This is the dawn of a new era for humanity, and for all who dare to dream among the stars." On Earth and its colonies, celebrations erupted. Monuments rose to honor those who sacrificed everything. Stories of bravery inspired generations. But humanity remained vigilant, aware that peace was a fragile gift. As the sun rose over a peaceful Earth, a new fleet set course not for war, but for exploration and alliance. Humanity had carved their place in the cosmos, not by conquest, but by fighting for their right to belong. The ship Aegis led the way, a symbol of hope and resilience, guiding humanity toward the endless possibilities of the stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown challenges and wonders. But humanity was ready. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. They had fought alone and won. Now, the stars awaited.